Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our discussion of the digestive system. In this video, we are going to be talking about the stomach. So if you remember, we are kind of making our way through the digestive tract. We went over what happens in the mouth and the esophagus. Now we are ready to talk about the stomach. Okay, so I want to just start by saying that as soon as food enters the stomach, we enter the gastric phase of digestion. So I want to remind you that before we even put any food in our mouths, we enter what's called the cephalic phase of digestion, where the sight and smell of food starts getting our secretions and motility happening in our digestive tract. Um, when food enters our stomach, we get some distension of the stomach. And also, we have some food molecules present in the lumen of the stomach. And those two stimuli act to trigger short reflexes that will then lead to secretion and more motility in the GI tract. So, yep, that is shown here somewhere. Here, initiated by distension or peptides and amino acids, these short reflexes here. Okay. Okay, so in the stomach, we have a couple main things happening. The upper stomach, don't worry too much about these names of the different parts of the stomach. But what I want you to know is that sort of in the upper half of the stomach, we have storage of food happening. So the food is just kind of hanging out there waiting to be digested. The lower half of the stomach is dedicated towards digestion. What happens in the lower half is that we have these peristaltic contractions that happen. And those peristaltic waves serve a couple purposes. One is mixing, right? So we're going to mix up our food and help it to come into contact with stomach acids, enzymes, and things like that. Another thing that the peristaltic contractions do is that they propel the food. So with each wave of peristaltic contraction, we have a little squirt of processed food that gets transferred from the stomach to the small intestine. Okay, and I guess I should mention right here that we have a sphincter here called the pyloric sphincter or the pylorus. So it's closed, and then with each peristaltic contraction, it opens a little bit to let a little bit of processed food through to the small intestine. Okay. Um, right. Oh, I also want to mention this term right here, gastric, means having to do with the stomach. Okay. All right. The wall of the stomach is lined with what are called gastric glands. So, again, I just want to remind you that a gland is sort of like this infolding of epithelial tissue. It's secretory epithelium. So, what will happen is that those epithelial cells will secrete things into this space here, and those secretions will then travel through the duct up to the surface of the epithelium. So that's what's happening here. Here is our epithelium. Here are our gastric glands. We're secreting various materials that come up into the lumen of the stomach. Okay. We have a variety of different cell types, secretory cell types in the gastric glands. And I'm